Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kids in Comedy Summer Graduation Show. Thank you for showing up in your homes. Give yourselves a round of applause. My name is Nick Maritato. I am your host, and also I was the teacher for these kids for the past 2 weeks at Kids in Comedy. If this is your first experience of a Kids in Comedy show, let me take a second to explain exactly what we do here. So basically, children come to us who want to do stand-up comedy, and they bring all their ideas. And what we do is help them flesh them out, organize them, and help them rehearse them for a couple of hours a day for 2 weeks, every single day. And today, you will see the benefits of our program. Today, you will get to see these kids perform hilarious stand-up comedy acts all on their own. They've created all of this material by themselves. These are all their own ideas. And honestly, this class is A+. Super funny stuff. A lot of funny comedians. You really are going to enjoy yourself. And thank you for being here. I know this is a weird situation that we're all in, having to watch our entertainment off of streaming off of YouTube. We are over here on Zoom. You are over there on YouTube. We can't hear you or see you, but we know that you're supportive. And I want to say thank you so much for that. How is your strange 2020 going? I would say for me, it's been a lot of delivery food, personally for me. That's kind of the big takeaway is not takeaway, it's delivery. That's what's going on in my household. Ordering more takeout this year than ever before. Thank God for like the delivery food apps, you know. I'm a Seamless boy, okay? I do Seamless. Best part about the Seamless app is right before you check out, they give you a little box to type in special instructions. And I imagine people, you know, say normal things like, you know, use the back door, doorbell doesn't work, you know. I usually write, don't judge in all caps, followed by extra mayo, please, thank you very much. I've actually gotten bored with the delivery options as of recent, so I've decided to mix it up. Now I order all my meals from Edible Arrangements. Did you know you could do that? You know, you haven't lived till you've eaten a $200 bouquet of chocolate-covered fruit for lunch, folks. You should try it. Best part about ordering from Edible Arrangements is when you make the order, you can write yourself a little note and feel important. I like to write something for myself and then read it in front of the delivery guy just so he knows how cool I am. You know, I'll get like the delivery of the chocolate covered fruit and I'm like, oh my God, look at this. And there's a note. Congrats to the real sexiest man alive. Signed Brad Pitt's abs. Look, they heard and they care. You know, I've been binging a lot of television. What else do we do? I binge a lot of television. I'm really into Big Brother right now. It just started. I like reality TV. I'm watching Big Brother and I'm realizing like these people are stuck in a house, can't go outside. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's kind of just like us, you know? So it's given me some ideas that I've taken from the show. And tomorrow night, I'm going to join up with my alliance of my cat and my toaster oven, and we are going to blindside my girlfriend and vote her out of the apartment. It's gonna be a good time. Check it out, CBS. You know, I haven't just been watching TV. I also I like to read books. I've been reading a lot of like biographies lately. Biographies can be like very, very long, you know? So sometimes like I'm reading it and like halfway through I get distracted and check out. And I'll be like, why is this author like Winston Churchill so much? You know what I mean? It's like on and on, Churchill this, Churchill that. There are other people on this planet, you know. If you like Churchill so much, why don't you marry him? What if the author did marry him? That would be kind of cool. You know, there is still like a lot of book left. That would be like an awesome, fun twist at the very end. You know, he like reveals it on the last page. I met Winston Churchill in a Holiday Inn just outside of Kansas City. We fell in love and were married in a fancy gazebo in Aruba that following year. The end. I like biographies. What's more exciting than a biography is an unauthorized biography. Unauthorized biographies like basically mean the facts in this book probably aren't real, but you can tell your friends they are because you learned it in a book. Okay? Come on, I read this. It has to be real. This is the unauthorized biography of Winston Churchill, Chapter 1. Winston was born in Portland, Oregon, December 71st, 1991. The son of a skateboard maker, Winston was raised on the half pipe. It was at his local skate shop / juice bar that Winston met the love of his life, Cardi B. Sadly, on June 57th, 2011, Winston choked on a Pop-Tart and died in the bathroom of a Holiday Inn just outside Kansas City. It was there I met the corpse of Churchill. We fell in love and married in a fancy gazebo in Aruba later that year. The end. Folks, that isn't the end. That is the end of my material. But it's just the beginning of this show because we have a fantastic lineup for you. You're going to love it. Sit back and relax. Enjoy this show, okay? Because our first comedian is super, super funny. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the wonderful Gilby Mitchell. Give it up for Gilby, everybody. It's Gilby.
Hi, everybody. I've lived in Staten Island for practically all of my life. And a lot of the opinions surrounding Staten Island aren't usually an overall positive. And I get that, but you have to understand that to me, Staten Island is kind of like my grandparent. And yes, my grandparent is racist, horribly addicted to opioids, big into Blue Lives Matter, an avid Trump supporter, and frankly, just filthy in every sense of the word. But they're still my grandparent. And if you're not my family and you call my grandparent any of those things, you got to get out. Like, seriously, the bridge is right over there. Staten Island was actually won in a boat race between New York and New Jersey, where obviously New York won. And when they figured that out, they were probably like, aw. But in all seriousness, I do love Staten Island. Well, my Staten Island. I live on the North Shore, which is cool because it's just made up of a bunch of teenagers who wish we were actually in the city. So we all play pretend together. Basically, we fight to see whose music taste is the most alternative because that will validate our New York City status. Then once you pass a certain point, it's pretty much just bad taste in the mafia. Yes, the mafia is very much alive and very much here in Staten Island. Myself, I've never actually had an encounter with a mafioso type myself, but my mother definitely had. The mafia loved my mom. I mean, big time. And not in like a creepy, I want to get with you kind of way, but more in like a, wow, I did not know women cursed. We should totally be friends kind of way. They go up to her everywhere in restaurants, theaters, parks. I remember this one time my mom was in a diner and this mafia guy came up to her and he was cursing like crazy. So he was like, oh, sorry, ma'am, I didn't mean to curse in front of you. Because, you know, mafia guys are gentlemen. And she was just like, it's no effing problem. So, you know, this dude like moved his chair up next to her and they're chatting up. He even offers to babysit her kids, which, come to think of it, explains that contact on my mom's phone that says mafia babysitter if all else fails. I swear my mother could have been in the mafia if she really wanted to. She could have been like the godmother ordering around all her little henchmen who think she's way too cool to disobey any of her orders. Honestly, that's a missed opportunity right there. Okay, I think I often sound a lot older in my head when I think or talk to myself. I definitely have some like fed up granny who lives in there and just drinks wine all day and started wearing sweatpants every day before quarantine started because she just doesn't care anymore. I especially notice this granny in me when I'm around younger children. Now, don't get me wrong, I love little kids. It's just the granny in my head isn't the biggest fan. When I'm around a kid who starts whining, I literally say to myself, you want some cheese with that wine? I have actually said that to myself. Next thing you know, I'm going to start handing out bits of hard candy from out of my pocket. I also notice this granny switch get turned on when I'm on social media, particularly woke social media. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I love woke social media because I'm big into social consciousness and social justice. And most of the times when I'm on woke social media, I'm brought aware to a lot of things I didn't know about before. But there are just some things that turn the granny switch on. And all of a sudden I'm saying to myself, oh, so this is what the kids are doing nowadays, huh? And this voice goes on when I see kids my age pretending to be woke by doing the most BS things. Now think about this. Back in the day, you had to be woke by taking some like radical action that could result in huge possible consequence. And now you can just go on Instagram and be like, sorry, I actually can't go marching today. Today's my boyfriend's birthday, and I promised I would take him to Dave and Buster's. But next time, we should start accounting for these fake woke people by making separate slogans for them that say stuff like, I'm with her in spirit, or stay woke if your schedule allows for it. Ugh, there's that granny again. Another thing I've been thinking a lot about lately is the signs inside of beach houses. I feel like they're all read the same way. You have to read them like, everything's sandier at the beach. They all have the exact same melody to them. 90% mermaid, 10% beach bum. Oh, except for the ones that get all deep and then say stuff like, the wind in my hair, the sand in my toes, and the peacefulness in my heart. Then you have to read them like your Martha Stewart or Yarn Cannabis, like super calm, but a little bit too calm. The sand may leave your shoes, but it will never leave your soul. I find those signs to be the funniest thing. It's because people just put them up in their houses unironically. Who would unironically be like, you know what I need in my house? One of those signs that says, a house is not a house until it's covered in sand. But beach houses aren't the place that needs signage. Every time I'm staying at a beach house, I end up spending more time at the actual beach. The number one place that needs more signage, without a doubt, is funeral homes. As someone who's lost someone very close to them recently, you can take my word for it that funeral homes need some sprucing up. Let's get some signs going. Let's edit those beach signs a little bit. Everything's deader at the funeral home. Or how about this one? 90% mourning, 10% annoyed at all those people you haven't seen in 10 years who are now trying to hug you. I think all funerals need to be a little bit more fun. Come on, we got to put the fun back in funeral. Waiting for that one, right? We need better music. I think Lizzo should be blasted at every funeral, and we need to ship in more people who say inappropriate things by mistake. We just need that. Another tip on how to spruce up a funeral, should I make a show out of this? Is invite a famous person to your family member's funeral. When I lost someone in my family, Steve Buscemi came to the wake, which was really cool because it's a lot better when people are asking you, is that really Steve Buscemi? Than when they're asking you, is there anything I can do? There's so much potential in funerals. There's business here, people. We have to jump on this. What if we always had a celebrity on hand? Just in case you need Cardi B to come to your grandma's funeral when it gets a little bit boring. Another thing I've been thinking a lot about is homophobia. Homophobia is crazy, man. First of all, it is a misnomer. No real homophobe is like shoving some kid in a locker while being like, ah, the whole time. Think about it. People with phobias of spiders don't dedicate their lives trying to convert spiders to butterflies. Secondly, I think there's a lot of overlaps between being gay and being homophobic. There's a bit of a fine line there. I once heard a homophobe say to his male friend, shut up right now or I swear to God I'm going to kiss you, I swear. It was so aggressive, but so romantic. Like, damn, I would kill to have a romance half as beautiful as the relationship between two men, each with a fragile masculinity. Thank you. That's been my time.
Yes. Give it up for Gilby. Fantastic set, Gilby. So good. Folks, I hope you're enjoying the show. And if you are, feel free to hit that YouTube chat. Go ahead. Let the kids know how great they are by sending an emoji that you are unsure of what the real meaning is. Because let's be honest, us old folks, we need to learn from the children. And that's why I'm going to spend the next 45 minutes. No. Folks, one more time for Gilby. That was great. But seriously, hit that chat. We love it. We love it. Your next comedian is so funny. You're going to love his energy. You're going to love his jokes. And you're going to love him. It's Jack Shuela, everybody. Give it up for Jack. Here comes Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack. Have you ever wanted to escape reality because you're stuck all alone at home without any human contact in a global crisis because the government made an oopsie doopsie poopsie whoopsie one yet again? Do you want everything to just be okay and easier? Well, obviously, silly. Hi, my name is Jack. I said that again. And I'm here to answer all your prayers and introduce you to the best place in the world, my basement full of Legos. It's not weird. Is your world global economy failing? Well, in the Lego world, our money is plastic, and our main motto is just money don't matter. So, because we don't have a currency, it'll all work out. I think. I hope. I don't know. Maybe. your investment. I mean, like, did your car break as well? Then just build it back together. That's all you need to do. It's that easy because it's Legos, and it's not weird. It just do you need to move and to get a new job, but you don't have any money? Well, just follow simple steps like ask your local instructions guy for some instructions to get a moving van, break everything in your house, including your house, and then put all those bricks into the moving van and get out of there. I mean, it's really easy to just live in the Lego world. You can't get a virus in my basement full of Legos because you're plastic, and your eyes can't even hurt from like a monitor or computer screen or everything. That's awesome. Come on. I mean, like you if you're suffering from any kind of racism, homophobia, xenophobia, any kind of narcissistic terrible things or any of the rest, in the Lego world, we're all the same. We're literally the same color of plastic. We're all yellow. I mean, you can't really be against that. And also the rest is just illegal. I mean, and yes, that means we do have laws. We have 3 laws. I know, crazy. 1, Lego is not responsible. 2, don't be mean because that's mean. And 3, we don't have that many laws and we should probably make more laws. So the best part about that, you might have heard that I didn't say gun control, because the guns in the Lego world, they don't have exit holes and there's no such thing as a plastic bullet thing. So it just kind of doesn't matter. And even if like you do get injured or maybe your hand spontaneously just kind of falls off, like usual, you could just put it back on or have someone else do it because you're a Lego. Your life is easier now. Just chill out. Also, the cars in my basement Lego world, they don't have cup holders because your hands are already cup holders. It's like easy access, I think. I don't know if that makes it better, but yeah, it's cool. I'm 13. Well, does your computer need an update? Sorry, I spaced out for a second. Well, it just doesn't need to get updated in Lego world because it's the computer screen's drawn on. So yeah, that's cool. However, I am legally obligated to tell you a few things about Lego. You can't always smell. You can't always see. Sometimes we don't know why. You can't really blink at all. You might lose your sense of everything from now and then. You can't get a hat. You can't put on a hat without being cold. You can't really. Once again, the monitor screens aren't drawn on, so that's not cool. There's no such thing as video games. Power isn't real in Lego, so there's no actual electric unless you find out a way to do that. And you might also experience spontaneous pain because you pull your body parts off of yourself to rest. But the rest is just healthcare stuff, and how Canada's already beating us in the next Lego race with healthcare. So don't worry about that. Oh, did I mention that it's really easy to express yourself in the Lego world? But that's also why you might feel spontaneous pain. But all you need to do is choose body part, disconnect body part, and put on another one. It's that simple. That also might be why everyone's experiencing spontaneous pain. But so come on down here, build a little Lego truck of your own. Come on down. I'm 13. Come on down here and convert to Lego right now. Do it. Change providers now. Also, you can't die if you're a Lego person. It's scientifically proven. Trust me, I've tried I don't know. I got bored. And well, a lot of people and a lot of things don't get the recognition and everything, the recognition that they should have, like Legos. But sometimes it's not only Legos, it's like a religion thing, or maybe it's a race situation, or maybe it's because you're a clown. And that's just, I don't like that. Okay, that's not okay. You can't. What's the problem with clowns? Okay, Richard has to make his money somehow. Okay, I mean, also it's just they're such a powerful group of people. Okay, you can't just be mean to a clown. they'll whack you. They'll, I don't know, put you in their car and no one will know because you can fit in many people in a clown car. It's kind of disturbing, actually. Clown school is very prestigious. It's very hard to get into. And they teach stuff like how to honk your nose correctly, sometimes even without one of those red things that you put on your nose. I don't know what's called. How to forget about your ex-wife, Karen. I don't know how to do that. Stuff like how to not be embarrassed at all, ever, because you're a clown. You're literally what people are to say to other people to make them upset. The way to do that to not be embarrassed at all is to just think of the thing that Steven Spielberg created Ready Player One, and then it just kind of works. You just feel better. It's like when you see an Instagram model and you're like, oh, I wish I had that body. It's like the opposite way around. Like you're the Instagram model. Oh, and there's also stuff like how to look very intimidating. I mean, like clowns are just like you and me, okay? They're just people, I think, right? I mean, they're not scary. How could you be afraid of that red smile? How could you be afraid of the powerful curls on their head? How could you be afraid of the giant inflated feet that could probably send a person to the hospital? Now that I think about it, a clown could get like away with almost any crime. For all we know, they can have like hundreds of million people in those cars, those little clown cars. They can have anyone. We don't know what's happening. We're not in their brain. I'm starting a whole conspiracy theory. I mean, anyway, you know what's scary? History. Yes. So I was reading on the internet, the cold, dark, disturbing thing that is the internet, and I found something about a woman named Violet Jessup. Violet Jessup survived. She wasn't normal. She survived 3 different shipwrecks in the span of 5 years. The Titanic, iceberg. The Britannic, I think something just went wrong. I don't know what happened to it. The Olympic, which obviously I get it. It's the same old story. Let's say it. Sank after colliding with the infamous HMS Hawk. And I get it. Everyone in 1911. I get it. Everyone knows it. So basically, you think that after 3 boats getting destroyed in the span of 5 years, you'd be like, nope, never drinking water ever again, never going near water. She just kept on going back. She just kept trying luck again and again. And I thought, wow, this sounds like the most bravest, luckiest person on the planet. And then I thought, wait, and then 0.3 seconds later, I reconsidered and I thought, no, this is the most horrendously unluckiest psychopath that I've ever heard about. And I mean, everyone loved her for having bad luck. The common folk gave her a nickname, Miss Unsinkable. She's not unsinkable, she sinks boats. What if you saw this person on your boat? You wouldn't be like, oh, hey, it's Miss Unsinkable. Let me get one of those pictographs because it's 1887. Let me get a really old camera and sit there for 10 seconds. No. You would be like, oh, that's the woman who just came out of 300 different shipwrecks. We got to get out of here now. And I'm Jack, once again, for the 3rd time, and you've been sinking in laughter, I hope.
All right, help, I'm sinking in laughter. Give it up for Jack Shuela, everybody. Jack, all right. We're going to keep this show rolling with your next comedian. You're going to love her. She's so funny. Give it up for Talia Winiarski, everybody. Keep it going for Talia.
Hi, I'm Talia. Last year, I had to write an English essay about my least favorite topic, myself. So what is the first quality that I thought of? My awkwardness. And I asked a few of my friends, want to help because, of course, my friends are lovely people. But I was a bit surprised about how excited they were to take on this project, like they had been born for this. They were a little bit too helpful. Actually, they were more than a little bit too helpful. They told me things like, remember when you tried to subtly ask Ethan where he was going to college, but it didn't come off as subtle at all? Or remember when you did that weird thing with your shoulder every time you dance like this? And they were so helpful that they asked other people to name instances in which I was awkward. Have you ever received a text from your friend saying, remember when Allison was in the library with her group of friends and you were close enough in proximity to participate in the conversation, even though you were clearly not a part of the group at all? Wait, what? I had erased that memory from my mind because I was so embarrassed. This essay experience was so traumatizing within the first 24 hours that I had to change my subject to my second most prominent quality, my intensity. My self-esteem is through the roof. Can you tell? My awkwardness is not my fault, though. My parents are both doctors and had limited time to teach me things like, you don't ask someone if they believe in God, you don't ask an adult their age, and worst, you never ask a woman if she's pregnant. I learned most of my social skills from shows like Blue's Clues and Dora the Explorer, which is to say, I didn't learn social skills. I learned to ask questions with exaggerated pauses and really loudly. I wish these shows had a teen and adult version. I think they'd be very helpful in real life situations. I was in a Shake Shack a little while ago, getting ready to order, when I saw a man wielding a knife at another man, like a knife that looked like he had just stolen it from the butcher shop. Imagine if Dora were there to help me. Where do we go now, Maps? Huh? What's that? We should leave? I wish I had a mochila to help me out at all times. Even though I don't know how to interact with people, I remember them. In quarantine, I've become less useful to my parents, specifically to my dad. My dad has a terrible memory. Sometimes people you think of bad memories will ask their kid for their teacher's name or where their birthday party is. My father will call and ask me, I'm at the pharmacy and I need to know your age. So I help him. If he's a president, I'm one of those people who whispers into the little Bluetooth. Sir, that's the Duchess of Sussex. Wait, TMZ just called? We have an update? Oh, she's now the matriarch of Hollywood. And even if you don't know Meghan Markle, titles can be confusing. So I tell my dad, that's Sasha. You used to work with her. Or that's Howard. You had dinner with him last weekend. Or that's Arlen. She's your wife. He's very subtle about it too. He calls everyone buddy to throw them off. If he sees a woman looking at him strangely on the street, he'll say, hi, buddy. She'll say, you broke up with me 30 years ago. My memory may be good, so I usually remember what I see on Instagram. Recently, I was looking through my Explore page, something I do more than I'd like to admit. And your Explore page says a lot about you. If you are over the age of 20 and your Explore feed is just filled with TikToks, there's something wrong with you. Mine, for some reason, is filled with journals with beautiful calligraphy. Can we admire the irony of that for a second? People post pictures of their journals, a notebook where they keep their most personal thoughts, on Instagram. I had a journal when I was younger that came with a lock and key, but then I lost the key, and then I lost the lock, and then I lost the journal. So if anyone finds a journal that says, Harry Styles, I love you in it, it's mine. And I would have never posted my journal on Instagram, a literally performative site. It seems to me that people journal for the sake of posting it rather than actually journaling. The worst case of this is gratitude journals. Keeping a gratitude journal is something you do if you 1, Pinterest for several hours a day, 2, have French tips, 3, have a sign in your house that says friendship is not one big thing, it's a million little things with no commas and no apostrophes, and 4, you have a life coach who sells essential oils as a side hustle. I say that because if you're keeping a gratitude journal, you must be in a pretty bad place. Imagine waking up and thinking, oh, I have to journal for what I'm grateful for today, and then you have a hard time doing it. My dog? There's coffee here. Breathing, I guess? That would make for a very weird grocery list. Even weirder is that people want other people to read their gratitude journals. There are a lot of other ways to tell people you're going through a hard time. Cut your own bangs, dye your own hair red, post an inspirational quote on Facebook. Do you really need to post this list on Instagram? I realize that I sound judgmental, which happens more than you would think. So I tried to empathize with gratitude journalists by becoming one of them. It helps that I've unleashed my inner middle-aged woman because I rarely go out anymore, and when I do, I have to post it on social media to prove that I did. Her name is Cheryl, by the way, and Cheryl helped me keep a gratitude journal. I didn't really know what's supposed to go in it, so I put everything that made me even the slightest bit happy. Silence, sleep. Shortly after, I threw my gratitude journal in the trash. Not actually, though. I didn't actually write this stuff down. I thought my brain cells would be better used doing anything else, like reading horoscopes, taking BuzzFeed quizzes, or figuring out how to be less awkward. Thank you, folks.
All right. Fantastic job. Give it up for Talia, everybody. If you find her diary, it might also be my diary. I have the exact same thing written. Guys, we're having a great time. We are having a great time. I can feel your energy at your homes right now. Sure, you're thinking about snacking, but you can't, because this is appointment television. You can't leave us. Well, not before our next couple of comics, because we still have some comics that are going to blow you away in a very funny way, not in a harmful way at all. Ladies and gentlemen, our next comedian is hilarious. Please give a warm welcome to the very funny Ethan Pinellas, everybody. Give it up for Ethan at your home.
Pizza place is kind of a bland name. The people deciding that must have been like, I want steak, where do I get it? Steakhouse. It's like a buffet, but it's worse. Cafe. Because, it means brown in Spanish. Coffee. That one's fine. We can stick with coffee. Mexican food. It's not delivered and for the most part can only be found one place. Taco truck. I want lunch. Diner. Because dinner, but a little less. Food cooked outdoors and on a grill. Barbecue. No real reason for that one. Just thought it'd be funny to hear them say something that didn't sound the way it's spelled. Italian. Could be anything. You get spaghetti there, salad, sandwiches. All right, I've done too much thinking. Pizza place. In my opinion, a cafe should be called Less Creative Buffet. Coffee, the office for the unemployed. Taco truck, tiny, almost portable kitchen. Barbecue, free hand wipe food. Diner, thinks it's stuck in the 50s. Pizza place, I think we should bring back pizzeria. Steakhouse, steak motel, because it stays for a couple days and then it's gone forever. The other day I was thinking, why are dogs so much smarter than people? You never have to tell a dog to finish its food. You say sit, they sit. You say no, they don't. You say roll over, they say how high. And dogs don't work or pay rent. They've trained people. All they give you in trade is unconditional love and they guard you from the unsuspecting mailman. They want to tell you about a squirrel or an intruder. You have no idea what's going on over there. All you know is you need to run over there as fast as you can because you didn't hear the doorbell. They never have a dog on Sesame Street. The other day I was watching Sesame Street. Not in a weird way. I was just watching Sesame Street because frankly, it's my favorite reality TV show. There's a grouchy man named Oscar the Grouch, which ensures the fact that no one can be friends with him based on false pretenses. He lives in garbage. Some people live with garbage. He lives in garbage. Oscar was sworn in by the dumpster himself. Big Bird is a deformed ostrich. Yellow, can barely run, and is shaped suspiciously like a person. He can't even fly. Just make him a chicken. Why does he have to be big? Cookie Monster is the living incarnation of a diabetic man with an eating disorder. They should get him a therapist, but instead they call him a monster. They fat shame a large retired member of the Blue Man Group. The Count is a vampire who teaches you math. That isn't even a stereotype. They just made that up. At least Oscar the Grouch is true. The guy lives in garbage. He should probably be kind of grouchy. And the Count never drinks blood. Not once does he drink blood or get arrested for drinking blood, which, fun fact, most vampires do. I fix some of these characters. Oscar the Grouch, give him a house. Big Bird, shrink him down a little bit. Cookie Monster, put him on a diet, maybe some vegetables. The Count, let him drink some blood. And then almost everyone would be happy. On the topic of TV, my favorite thing to do while watching TV is listen very closely to the side effects and warnings in medicine commercials. One I saw the other day is, don't take this medicine if you have had a fatal allergic reaction to it. So let me get this straight. If I eat it, and I almost die from it, I shouldn't eat it again. Because I was confused by that. Also, they must have found this out by someone eating it, almost dying, and then eating it again. But the best part of the commercial is that they keep going. Don't take this medicine if you have hepatitis B. Why is that the follow-up? Don't take this medicine if you've almost died from it. Among other reasons. I'm actually making medicine of my own. The side effects may include, but are not limited to, hair loss, temporary or permanent deafness, temporary or permanent blindness, permanent paralysis, temporary or permanent death. You may gain the ability to properly name restaurants. Daymares, it's a nightmare, but during the day. You may feel the need to shred evidence. You may feel the need to leave this earth and find a better one. You may feel more relatable with fire. You may already have undiagnosed narcolepsy. You may gain the ability to acknowledge that you, a 14-year-old, should not be watching Sesame Street. You may gain cat-like tendencies. You may forget the name of your favorite food, but remember the taste. But don't worry, this is approved by the FDA, Fudge and Drool Administration. And we tested it on chimps, and your DNA is 98.6% like chimps, and only 92% of them died, so you're probably good. We don't know what this medicine does, but we do know the side effects, and that's what's important. Thank you very much. I yield my time.
Nice. Give it up for Ethan. Give it up for Ethan. He yielded his time, folks. Okay, that should, you should give it up for that. I mean, we have no time left on this planet, so he's yielding his. Come on now. Folks, we are almost at the end of our show, but not before we have a fantastic comedian coming up. She is so funny. She is hilarious. She is great. Give it up for Vanessa Pliskow, everybody. It's Vanessa. Keep it going.
My older sister and I have an established rule. It's unspoken, but the entire household is aware of our truce-like tendencies. So this is kind of weird, but whenever me and my older sister are in a fight, if the offender starts singing a Broadway song, then the victim will join in and we won't be mad at each other anymore. Like last night, she was being super cynical by stealing the remote from me while I was watching The Office in the living room, and I started yelling at her because she wouldn't give me the remote back, and obviously I was pissed. She then started singing my favorite things from The Sound of Music, and I joined in obviously because she knows I can't resist a good show tune. Next thing you know, we're belting out the second verse and we're friends again. Of course, my mom cuts us off during the third verse, and she's yelling at us to shut up because it's midnight and she needs to get up early tomorrow. We then sat down on the couch together for like 3 hours and watched the sing-along version of The Sound of Music. Our most common musical song selections in our repertoire are Good Morning Baltimore, Seas of the Day, the entire soundtrack of Fiddler on the Roof, 16 Going on 17, I Play Liesl, She Plays Rolf, and Defying Gravity, which is out of both of our vocal ranges. So that got me thinking, what if we all could use this technique whenever we have a disagreement with someone else? I'm sure some of you are hesitant, or pretty much all of you are hesitant, so I'll give you a couple hypotheticals. Let's say Karen is driving her Honda Odyssey with one of those family stickers on the back down I-95 roughly 20 miles per hour below the speed limit. A big truck is tailing her and she's forced to pull over, and the truck does the same. The big truck driver jumps like 6 feet down to the ground and slowly walks over to Karen's Honda. Karen rolls down the window and yells at the truck driver, let her be or she'll need to call the police. The trucker tells her she just needs to drive quicker and she's the one in the wrong. Karen stares at the truck driver, then quietly and slowly starts to sing, 525,600 minutes. He watches her like she's insane, but secretly Seasons of Love is his favorite song to sing in the shower. He joins in quietly at first, then he and Karen start to sing like super passionately and really belt it out. He then nods his hat towards her like a cowboy, gives her a smile, and goes back into his truck and drives away. Like, I really think this could work. And we might be a little too late for this conflict, but what if the presidents of Israel and Palestine duetted to the song Part of Your World and magically found common ground? Like, literally. Yeah, long-running major world conflicts are like kind of hilarious. A smaller scale conflict is happening on Hans Island. Hans Island is essentially a half-mile unmarked territory piece of rock that lies between Canada and Denmark. It's isolated and surrounded by water. Very unappealing and uninteresting piece of land. Anyway, the Danish got the land in 1939, and the Canadians got super mad that they didn't get this rock. And to be honest, their anger doesn't really make sense to me. Like, why would any sane person spend time being mad about a piece of rock with literally no use whatsoever? Like, it's literally just there, does nothing, helps no one, yet gets all of the attention. Hans Island kind of reminds me of my older sister's boyfriend. Don't worry, she told me I could say that. Well, I didn't actually tell her the meaning of the metaphor. I just asked her if I could call her boyfriend an island. She gave me a couple skeptical looks, but I got the okay as long as I left her room and shut the door behind me. So, in return, because the Canadians were pissed, they did something that wasn't too nice. Some might even say mean, but like in a funny way. I know, very unlike the general Canadian stereotype I'm familiar with, and they didn't even say I'm sorry. I guess it's not fair to assume that all Canadian people are nice, but they kind of are, like it's just a thing. Anyway, they took the Canadian flag, drilled it into the rock, and left a bottle of Canadian whiskey right in front of their flagpole, then ran away like scared children. My first question is, why whiskey? Like, you could literally leave anything. Don't you want to make a statement? If I were in charge of this retaliation against a completely unnecessary and kind of dumb piece of rock, I would want to leave something that would make the entire population of Denmark want to flee their country immediately. Perhaps an 8x10 photograph of my older sister's boyfriend. Sorry, not sorry. Let's brainstorm. Why whiskey? Perhaps from an optimistic Danish viewpoint. Okay, so maybe they were trying to get us drunk so they could take advantage of us and steal our land. I mean, maybe since the Canadians are like super nice, they left the whiskey as an indirect apology to us, like, sorry for claiming your land, bud. Here, you can drink your sorrows away like the Danish usually do. But the Danish didn't really see it in that way. So at this point, the Danish were angry. So then they switched out the Canadian flag with the Danish flag and put a bottle of Danish snaps in front of the flagpole. Super original. I can't believe they came up with that. Basically saying, this is our land. Don't mess with us. We have a flag too, and we own alcohol as well. They even wrote a note saying, welcome to the Danish island. That note is super basic, just like my sister's boyfriend. Maybe if the Canadians wrote a note saying, this is the Canadian island now, welcome, in their first claim of Hans Island, I would totally support them and be on their side. I mean, how couldn't I? They're like super nice. So after this debacle, Denmark and Canada broke out into a full-blown whiskey war. Whiskey war. That isn't some funny play on words. It's actually called the Whiskey War. And I don't know how I feel about that. And I'm like a super opinionated person, especially on the topic of my sister's boyfriend. But a whiskey war? Okay, so when I think of a whiskey war, I think of a bartender fighting with a drunk guy at last call because he won't give him another shot of whiskey after he's already had like 10. Well, I think the drunk guy would be fighting the bartender, and the bartender is like this nice guy, because all bartenders are nice guys in the movies, and he just wants to make sure he'll get home okay, but the drunk guy does not know that, so he tries to like fight him physically, but he can't even stand up straight because, as we established, he's super drunk, and then he falls asleep at the bar stool, and then the bartender rolls his eyes, but like in a nice way because he's a nice bartender. Then the drunk guy's friend drives him home, and that's a look into my brain. Oh, sorry, back to Whiskey War. Let's fast forward to 2005. Canada and Denmark decided that they were going to resolve this altercation concerning Hans Island. And by 2015, they now both own the island. Yay! Compromise! It only took 76 years. So the end result? They both ended up with a quarter-mile rock with literally no use whatsoever and might not seem important to the general viewer, but for some odd reason, it means a lot to both of the countries. It was all for nothing. What a waste of time, which is what my older sister will say when she breaks up with her boyfriend next week. You've all been lovely, I imagine. I don't see any of you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Vanessa. Excellent job, Vanessa. An excellent job to every comedian that you saw here today. Folks, that has been the show. That is the end of the graduation show. Kids in Comedy, our final session of the summer. Thank you for being with us to celebrate. I want to say thanks to everybody out there. Thank you to all of the comedians. Thank you to my assistant, Emma Jane Gonzalez. She is here. Look at her. She knew she was coming. She gave the wave. She's so good at this Zoom stuff. She was with me giving notes to all of these fantastic comedians you saw today too. So thank you so much, Emma. I want to say thank you to Joanne and Stu. They are the directors of the program. They are watching on YouTube at home. Thank you so much. Without them, we wouldn't be here. And thank you to you folks for actually tuning into this. It's a very important part of the process to have an audience. I also want to say, hey, Are you kind of interested in what you saw here and you have a kid who's kind of funny who wants to get involved? Why don't you go to kidsandcomedy.com? You can sign them up for our fall classes. We do classes on the weekends. There's a couple classes to choose from. They're separated usually by age, but you'll have to check in to see where your kid falls. And we'd love to have your children come to our program and be funny with us. It's what keeps us going. And we've been doing this here for many, many years, and we want to keep doing it, especially since we are in the Zoom age now, but we're plowing along. We've had a lot of fun. You can actually go to the YouTube channel as well for Kids in Comedy. You can see all the graduation shows that we did this year. You can see all of the pro shows that we do with the kids who have been with us for a long time. It's a lot of fun over there on the Kids in Comedy YouTube page. I also want to say thank you to our technical director, Matt. Matt is the person in charge of actually getting us online, getting us to the finish line. And without Matt, we wouldn't be able to do all this fun stuff. So thank you so much, Matt. So folks, we are now going to just wave like strange people until this stream goes away. So we hope you have a really great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and we hope you can join us again in the fall. So long. Still waving.